what is the hardest thing being the president director of PNG Indonesia?
If you ask me, is there hustle in every job? I would say yes, right?
I want to know about that. How do you manage that?
Pressure minus support is equal to stress.
I want to know, how many meetings do you have every day?
Yeah, about 8 to 10 meetings, yeah.
I heard also, as a leader, it's really hard up there, right? It's very windy up there.
Managing time is important, managing energy is important, but it is also important to manage your thoughts. Even more important is managing your thoughts.
That's the hardest thing, I think. Hai, welcome to Sit with Iwet Ramadan. Ini adalah sebuah show yang saya buat untuk bertemu dengan orang-orang yang sangat spesial sekali dan pastinya akan membawa berbagai macam inspirasi untuk kita pelajari bersama. And this time, this first episode, I am very lucky to have a chit-chat with the President Director of PNG Indonesia. Mas Sarah, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me here,
Yeah.
Iwet.
And lucky you can sit with me.
I am.
Actually, this show was made because of I met a lot of people. I met a lot of people, a lot of interesting people, a lot of important people. And I found that they have a lot of stories to tell. And I'm thinking, why don't I just share their stories through my platform, which is the YouTube. So I asked your team, hey, can I talk to your president director? Because I always excited to know the point of view of leaders, what they're thinking, what they want, how they run their life. Thank you very much for making the time.
Not at all, it's my pleasure to be here. My pleasure to be in this show of yours, and I know that you had a lot of interesting people before, and I hope to be a little bit interesting as well.
Of course. You are also going to be the first guest that experienced the Well I Wonder segment.
Wow.
Okay, so the Well I Wonder, this is actually a stack of cards. Consists of 100 cards, and it has a lot of questions here.
Okay.
You can choose one and read the question. Okay, I'll shuffle it first. This is really good for ice breaking.
Excellent.
Okay.
Now I know why I'm lucky.
Okay, choose one.
Excellent.
Okay. Can you read it for me and also answer the question?
What is your pet peeve? Something small but really annoys you. Maybe I would say is being on time.
Being on time.
Yes. When people are not on time, at least it annoys me a bit. So I do tell myself that it's a busy world and people try to make it on time, but there are times in which it doesn't work. But that's a pet peeve that I'm working on as well.
Okay. But how you tolerate with people is not on time?
Previously, I used to think a lot about it, and I used to place a lot of emphasis, and it used to show on my interactions as well. But as time went by, I also realized that there is just so much happening in everyone's life as well, right? And while everyone tries to give their best, once in a while things can happen that comes in their way of being on time. So I have now come more in terms with that, and that's how I overcome that as well.
That's really nice. Okay, so in this conversation, I will make 3 parts, or maybe a segment. Number 1 is past,
Okay.
and then present, and future.
Sure.
Now let's talk about your past. I always want to know from the people that I met, how was their childhood?
Okay.
They say there are like the golden age, right, from 3 to 5 years old. And how's yours?
Okay, that's a great question. I grew up in a what you would call as an average Indian middle class family, right?
Where was the city?
This is in a city called Chennai. It used to be called Madras at that point in time.
Madras.
Yes.
I know Madras.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
not
Have you been there?
No, not yet.
Okay, so
never been.
sometime,
Okay,
right?
okay, and then?
So that's where I grew up in a family of three brothers and with a very close family. And
And you were the youngest?
I was the youngest in that.
Youngest.
So I got lucky many times, as you would say, right? I got the love and affection of the entire family. So my growing up, the 3 to 5 years golden age, what I remember of is unconditional love from parents. And I saw my parents working really, really hard, and also living a very simple life as well.
I see.
But one in which I would say, as I said, if there is one thing that I were to take away is of the unconditional love and affection that I got from my parents and from the extended family in which I grew up.
Talking about the unconditional love and also parents, we always know that parents' love is nothing to compare, right? Can you tell us also what was the most memorable moment with your parents?
As I grew up, what I saw is that my parents, like I think many parents do, they created two worlds, I would call it, right? One is what I call as the limited world, and the other one is called as the limitless world, right? I saw them living in what is the limited world, in which while they had their own desires and their aspirations,
Right.
they wanted to give so much for us
Yes.
that I saw them cutting down on their desires, cutting down on their aspirations,
Yes.
so that they can put that into creating a limitless world for us. While they cut down on their aspirations and likes, they didn't want us to dream small. They didn't want us to cut our aspirations. They wanted to provide all that we wanted as three brothers, so that we can live in what I would call as the limitless world. And that's the sense of gratitude that I don't think I can ever overcome, that I have for my parents.
That's really nice. And what most interesting is actually you observe that and you realize that. I mean, not many kids realize that.
Truth be told, I never realized it then, right? And my moment of realization, my moment of truth is when we had our first child.
Oh, what happened?
Of course, I mean, like, you always feel good about your parents. You know that they are providing for you, and you know that they want the best for you. But till the time we had our first child, I don't think I experienced the aspect of, one, the unconditional love, and what my parents truly did for me. So that really was the moment of truth, when my sense of gratitude towards my parents and my true appreciation for what they did for me increased multifold.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, now let's talk about the present. How do you start your daily routine?
So my routine is usually I'm up by about 5 a.m. So 5 a.m.
5
is when
a.m..
I'm up, and
It's always,
yeah,
no matter what, how late you sleep.
no, it's always at 5. Right?
Okay.
I mean, there can be exceptions once in a while if I am taking a late night flight and all of that. But on most days, I would say I'm up at 5 a.m. And so I love playing badminton. So there are times in which if I'm in India, for example, so I play 6 to 7 badminton with a group with which I've been playing. And in other places, when I'm traveling, when I'm in Jakarta, when I'm traveling, so I get up early, I go for a run, and which I find it very useful, both in terms of setting up the energy that I need for the day, and also helping me be with my own thoughts, as I would call it. So this is a time where I'm free of any device. So it's me, myself, either running or taking a walk. I love running around Gebeka. So I run in Gebeka. So that's what I do. That's how my routine is usually. And I'm in office by about between 8:30 to 9.
Okay, okay.
And then I get back by about 6:30.
That's interesting. From what I read and from what I watch on YouTube, most of successful people, they have their daily routine like repeated.
Clockwork, yeah.
Is it the secret to be a successful person? Waking up very early and then doing their me time.
I used to think that way, that waking up early is probably one recipe for success. But then over a period of time, what I've come to believe is having a routine is important, right? And that routine can be anything, right? Which is we need to find out what works for us best as a routine. For someone, it can be getting up very early in the morning and then going for a run, right? For some others, it may be that they like spending time with their pet. They like spending time playing some music, right?
Or maybe having a coffee.
Maybe having a coffee, right? Just meeting with friends.
Yes.
So I think it's important for everyone to find out what is a routine that works for them, and then they are able to make time for that.
Yes.
That's what I've come to realize over a period of time.
My comfort zone is actually my routine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I realized that yes, I really hate it when someone interrupts my routine. Did you feel the same also?
I mean, at times I do. At times I do. And for example, if I don't find time to say run continuously for 3 days or do something, I find very frustrated, right? I need to find time. I need to find time for that. It's the same.
So if you cannot manage running in the morning, so you will run in the evening?
Yes, yes. I find I can't go say 2 days without doing something.
I see.
I can take a break for a day.
Yeah.
But 2 days at a stretch, I don't recall when was the last time I took 2 days at a stretch of a break of not doing something, some activity, either playing something or running something.
Yeah, it will release the steam.
Yes, yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay, now being the president director of P&G Indonesia, I know it's a big job, big title, and it's a big work to do. What is the hardest thing being the president director of P&G Indonesia?
The hardest thing I would say is how do we create a workplace where everyone can be themselves and still bring their best to work.
I want to know about that. How do you manage that? Keeping people being themselves and making the best of.
Yeah, a few things that I've come to realize and learn over a period of time, right? Which is the starting principle here is everyone wants to do their best, right? And that I firmly believe in. Companies like ours, we try to hire the best people who are available in any market that we operate in, and once we bring them in, we want to give them opportunity for them to do their best, right? And also what we've seen over a period of time is while certain elements like drive for success have remained consistently the same, people's expectations in terms of what a company offers, of what a job offers, have also slowly changed over a period of time as well, right? The biggest one that I've learned is to ask for us to be aware in terms of what really motivates people. What are our people's expectations when they are coming into an office like P&G? And how do, as their leader, working with my leadership team, I provide the environment in which they feel that, hey, this is a place where I can be myself, and I've got all the support and the resources that I need to be able to give my best. And when I do that, I can move towards my aspirations that I have for myself.
Oh, that's really nice. So the surrounding, the ecosystem, is very important.
Absolutely, yes.
How do you manage their stress? I mean, as a leader, of course, you have objective to achieve. You need to set the goals also, and sometimes during achieving that goals, objectives, people are having stress. How do you manage that?
Okay, excellent question, and this is a very passionate topic that I engage with my leadership team as well. I've come to realize over a period of time that it's very, very important for us to have our own formula, if I can call it, to manage ourselves, right? To manage our well-being. The other aspect also is, as leaders, how do we make sure that we are able to help our people? We are able to work with them, help them manage their stress, as you called it, right? And there is a very simple formula that I share with my leadership team, which is pressure minus support is equal to stress.
Pressure minus support
is equal to stress. Right? Which is in today's world, right? Work is one aspect of our people's lives. People who walk into the P&G office every day, work is one aspect of their life. Pressure can be from various aspects. Pressure can be from work, pressure can be from their personal life, pressure can be from challenge that they are working on. It can be anything, right? But the variable on which we have full control over is the support variable, as I call it. And dialing that up making sure that we know what our people want, making sure that we know how they are doing from their well-being standpoint, and dialing up that aspect of support is what I believe can reduce the stress, right? And so I spend a lot of time working with my teams trying to understand what can be the drivers of pressure. After I work with them to simplify in whatever way I can, I spend time on amplifying the support, which is know your people well, know what the drivers of pressure are. But that's not going to be enough.
Yes.
We will need to know what is the support that they really need. For some people, it can be flexibility from a work timing standpoint. For some people, it can be just a conversation on a monthly basis saying, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything that I can help you with? Those are the things that truly elevate the support that we offer to our people, which then leads to less stress.
There are two lessons that I just learned from you. Number one is very important to understand yourself. Number two, it's very important also to understand people around you, including as a leader. You need like really understand your team.
Yep.
So you will understand. If you understand them, then you will know how to treat them.
Absolutely.
Including maybe you have to know the love language of the people, right?
Yeah.
If we can apply that to them, it can help.
Absolutely.
And that could be the support.
Yes.
Okay.
That's been a big learning for me.
I always wanted to know from a leader, have you ever failed? And how do you cope with the failure?
Okay, excellent question. And I think
oh, I got 3 excellent questions. Yes.
So, and I think every leader asks himself or herself this question on how to cope up with failure, right?
Yes.
And my biggest lesson and my learning journey on that, if I can call it, is the first one is coping with failure also has got a lot to do with coping with success, right? And early on in my life, when I started leading people, managing people, and leading large organizations, I realized that how we react to failure has also got a lot to do with how we react with success, and the answer to both may probably lie in the same one. When I observed my own feelings and thoughts in terms of how I was coping with failure, I realized that my highs when there was success were too high, which made my lows when there were failures to be too lows, right? And that's when I said, when things go well, you will need to take a step back and ask yourself, hey, what really worked behind this to make this a success? What is the learning that I can take from this, which I can reapply? Similarly, when things don't go well, when there are failures that come your way, it's important to take a step back and ask the same question again, which is why did I fail? And what can I learn from this failure? And what can I do to make sure that I reapply that learning, so that as we go forward, there are fewer failures, is how I ask myself. How to cope with success and how to cope with failure are the same.
We've talked about how you give advice, maybe how to handle stress for your team. But how about yourself? Because I understand that also being a leader is not easy, right? And how you manage your personal well-being between your routines and your professional life.
Okay. All of us have our own internal source of energy, as I would call it, right? Finding that source of energy and investing in it is what I do to be able to manage my well-being. And there are 3 things that I think come together to give me my energy. One, of course, is family, which is making sure that I spend time with family and I'm able to spend really good quality time with my wife and my kids. The second one is fitness, which again is very important for me. As we spoke, I definitely need to do something on a daily basis almost, right? And the third one is what I call as productive meditation. Every now and then there will always be something that is on your mind, but being able to know one's thoughts and be able to ask ourselves this question, so what can I do now, is I think is a very important aspect, which is what I learned. I learned this in a book called On Productive Meditation. So these 3 are the ones that form my energy source. and that's how I maintain my well-being as well.
I would say that that's your work-life balance. You still manage to work really hard, but you know when the time to stop, to give time for your family, your fitness, and productive meditation.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, like, have you heard about the term of healing?
Yes.
You heard about that?
Yes.
From the younger generation, they're very stressful and they are very aware of the mental health issue and everything. And they kept saying that I need to heal myself, I need to do this. But actually, if you know how to balance your life with anything that is important to you for yourself, work-life balance can be achieved.
I think that's a very nice way of putting it, and which is what we talk about a lot in internally in the company as well. Each and everyone, how do they find their source of energy?
Yeah.
And figure out the formula that works for them.
Yes.
And they're able to invest in that so that they can find their balance.
Found out the source of your energy. That's important. Okay. Now let's talk about the hustle culture. Hustle culture is also an issue that people always talking about at the moment. Not much people love the hustle culture because it creates a burnout. What do you think about this? What is your point of view?
Yeah. If you ask me, is there hustle in every job? I would say yes, right? Making sure that we have the right ecosystem in place by which we are able to take a step back and know what really matters and work on them from a medium to long term standpoint makes sure that the hustle that we have starts reducing over a period of time.
Yes.
And the Eisenhower matrix, as they call it, which talks about urgent, important, right? If all the time our people are focused on things that are important and also urgent, there's very little time that they have to be able to work on things that are important but not urgent. And as leaders, I think it's very important to create the right ecosystem, the right processes, the right drumbeats in any company by which we constantly work towards keeping the hustle at a manageable level. There will always be hustle, right? But making that manageable is important. If every day is a hustle, then I think we should go back to the drawing board and ask ourselves, what are we missing?
Okay. Okay. Out of curiosity, I want to know, how many meetings do you have every day? Average.
Average, I will have about about 8 to 10 meetings. Yeah.
Nice. Now let's talk about the duck syndrome. So I've read this duck syndrome from Homeless Media. It's a media on Instagram platform. And they say that the duck syndrome is actually dangerous because you look steady, you look good upside, but under the water you paddle really hard. What is your point of view about this?
Okay, again, one more excellent question, right? Which is
4. I got 4.
It's very, very important for us to have what are the challenges that our organization is facing. And it can be a business challenge, it can be an organization challenge. And the paddling that is referred to here is working on those issues. Right? Which is you continue to paddle, you continue to work on those issues, but it is important as a leader for you also to make sure that your organization gets that sense of security, the psychological safety as they call it, right? So that's the angle with which I have always seen it, right?
Yes.
So you don't want your large organization looking at you and saying that, hey, if he or she is going to be as stressed, then that stress starts percolating down, right? So that's what my take on that has been.
It's never easy to be a leader. Never
It's,
easy.
I mean,
never
it's a privilege. It's part of the course.
Yeah, but yeah, it's part of the course.
Yes.
Now, since this is a mental health week, mental health. We just passed the mental health day,
Yes.
and now we're entering still in the mental health week. And it's a very hot issue at the moment. How do you see this issue? I mean, like, I know for sure that it is one of your concerns, but how you put this in your organization?
Okay. So there are a few things that we do from an organization standpoint. And the first one is we talk about that in the organization. Right? I think it is important for our people to know that it's okay to engage on this conversation. Right? What we have are a set of campaigns in which we do reach out to people and we tell them it's okay to be not okay, if I can call it. Right?
Yeah.
The second one, what we are also doing is we are building this capability or skill in our managers who really are the first line, if I can call it, with whom our employees are interacting with, and build that capability in them as what we would call as mental health first aiders, who can at least recognize what their people are going through and then make the right connections with the medical team, for example, who are better equipped to handle this.
Yes.
And the third one is we do also have 24/7 access for our people. If they want to talk to someone, if they want to talk to a professional, that's part of our employee assistance program as well, where they can reach out to a professional, they can have the conversation that they want, and the professionals are then able to guide them on how they should go about managing this.
You are really take serious note on this.
It is very important. It is very important for me. It's very important for my leadership team.
Yeah. I heard also as a leader, it's really hard up there, right? The wind is very big. It's very windy up there, and yeah, what I heard that you need to have a mentor. Do you have also?
I do. In fact, I do have a few, I would say.
Few.
Yeah, the advantage of working in a company like P&G over a long period of time is you come across great leaders, right? And what I have always made a point is to stay in touch with them and reach out to them whenever I need their counsel on something. So even recently I was on a business trip to the US where I met one of my mentors over a long period of time, and I sat with him to have a cup of coffee and ask a few things to him on what's on my mind and how I should approach that. I think that's an important ecosystem for everyone to create for themselves, and this is something we actively encourage in the company as well. Mentorship as a concept is something that we encourage our people, especially our youngsters in the company, to be able to form their own network, someone whom they are comfortable with, so they can reach out, they can ask for counsel, they can just have a conversation when they need.
What would the best tips on leaders to take care of their mental health?
Okay, for a long period of time, I think the aspect of leadership used to be about managing time. That's what I also thought when I first became a manager and a leader. Then over a period of time, I realized that it is not just managing time, it's about managing your energy. Managing time is important, managing energy is important, but it is also important to manage your thoughts. And that combination is what I would give as a tip for leaders as well, which is managing time is a necessity. And I think all of us are lucky to have an ecosystem that helps us do that, right? We work with great people who help us do that. Managing energy, only we can do for ourselves, which is where the source of energy conversation that we spoke. Even more important is managing your thoughts.
That's the hardest thing, I think.
Yes, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so that combination is what I would give as a tip to any leader, as manage your time well, invest in managing your energy, be aware of your thoughts and manage your thoughts.
About managing your thoughts, I heard that journaling is very good.
Yes.
Do you also doing journaling?
Journaling helps you pen down what you're thinking about so that you can pick that up later and be able to work on that.
Yes.
The other one that I found helpful, which I shared earlier, is on productive meditation.
Productive meditation.
Which is when I'm going for a run or when I'm going for a walk. So I'm aware of my thoughts and I know what are the top 1-2 things that are on my mind. And then I'm able to ask myself a very clear set of questions, which is, if this is a problem or a challenge that I'm working on, what really matters now? And what is the action that I can take? Because that closure or closing the loop is an important way for me to manage that. Because there's only so much you can do just thinking about it. Know what matters now, what proactive action can you take, at least tells you that you've taken a few steps on the issue that has been playing on your mind.
Interesting. So we are approaching to the end of the conversation. When did you start your career? At what age, if I may know?
26.
26.
Yes.
If you could say or you could give advice to your 26-year self, what would it be?
That would be enjoy the ride, which is one of my current manager. In fact, he told me this is that you have to find time to stop and smell the roses, right? And that is probably the advice that I'll give when I started the career back.
So you never stopped back then?
I think I did, but there is this constant aspect of looking for a milestone where you will say, when I get there, I will do this. When I get there, I will do that, right? While I think it is important, I probably could have stopped more to smell the roses and enjoying more the journey, right? And in hindsight, if I can pass that tip to myself, that's probably what I will pass.
Nice conversation, Pak Sarah. Thank you very much for the time, and thank you very much for the wisdom. It's really nice to sit with you. I learned a lot, and hopefully also my viewers learn a lot about wisdom, about how you deal with life and how you deal with the mental health issue. But the most important thing is how you deal with yourself. Thank you so much again for your time.
Not at all. Thank you so much, Yvette. Thank you for having me here. I had fun talking to you as well.
Yeah.
And of course, sometime in the near future, I look forward to us running around GBK together as well.
I'll take that as a challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Yvette. Nice meeting you. Thank you.